Greetings in the name of Yahuwah and his son Yahusha HaMashiach. My name is Malak Shalomo, and I'm in a live trade right now on Mnq. That's the micro NQ futures. So today is the 30th of March 2023. It's 8:14 p.m. Right, so we're in the ETH. As you can see here, I tried to open my Epic Pen, but it wasn't working today, so I'm gonna try and use this from TradingView. So you see here we broke out of the ETH IB, the initial balance high, and the setup in the Camarillas is a higher value relationship, well, overlapping higher value, right? Because this is Camarilla S3, and that was prior day's Camarilla R3, so it's just below, right? And Camarilla R3 today has moved up to this level here at 13,131.50, right? So one of the things for the bullish setup is that we have to open above the CPR right here, which is the central pivot range. This is the pivot TC, this is the pivot, and that's the pivot BC, right? So everything we're opening above the central pivot range. We're opening within price range of yesterday, right? But yesterday closed bullish, right? Just within a few ticks of like the high. So let's see here. I'm actually looking at my trade right now, so it's probably gonna hit target soon, but I'll jump over to NinjaTrader soon. I'm just trying to break down the thesis for this trade, right? So in the ETH open, we pull back here. This is the ETH IB low, right? The first hour of trading. This was the low right here. As you can see, we stayed above the pivot TC, top central pivot. So that's remaining bullish right there. And one of my targets was around this level right here, yesterday's high, and my second target is Camarilla R3, right? So let's see where we're at. Let's go over to NinjaTrader. Right, so right now we're 29.75 ticks in profit. The entry was at 13,089.25. And let's see here, stop has moved to 13,098.50. I entered 5 micros, right? So took off 3 of them at this level right here at 13,1112.25. And this is Camarilla R3, just underneath Camarilla R3 right here. So looking to get that target, right? So jumping over to bookmap here. So the entry was 13,089.25, right? Right, so this was the entry right here. So we had this pullback. Let me just try and make this a little bigger. That's too big. Bookmap me going crazy on me, man, when I have all this stuff open. Alright, pull back a little bit, pull back. Right, so this is the ETH IB high right here. We came back and we retest that at around 13,086.11. So let me just open up that structure so you can see that. Right, so as we came back to this area here, we retested the IBH the initial balance high in the ETH, and I entered on the break here of this structure, right? So this is the pullback, break above the structure, entered here at 1389.25, right? So that's how I kind of structure my entries. So waiting for the retest of a certain level, like the IBH high, excuse me, retest of the IBH high, and then we're looking to break above the prior consolidation right here, right? So that's confirming the bullish setup when it retests, breakout, and you see we retest the structure again, and then we just broke up, we just pushed up. We had another retest right here, well, not really a retest, but just a slight pullback, and had that major push. You can see there's no volume really traded between this level here. Come on, bookmap, open up. Right, so what happens when price pushes through like this, right, and you don't get any trades in between these levels here, it usually comes back and tries to fill that gap, right? So you see we came back almost touching all the prices within this breakout right here, and then we just consolidated sideways a little bit, broke back up, and as you can see we came back down again to test these levels where we broke out from, right? So it wants to fill that gap right there, and then we just push back up. So all this here has been traded already, so we could push up, right? And then probably all this here was filled with trades, right? So when we push them back up, we could do a clean sweep back up to this level. Come on, come on. Right, so on the breakout here, we still came back and tried to fill this little gap right here, right? So you see price pull back, we fill that little gap, pushed up again, and all these price areas, this one here wasn't really filled, but then I'm sure moving forward you'll see we came back to this level. So pushed up again, came back, filled all these gaps right here with the lack of trading, so they came back to trade those levels. As you can see, we pull back, fill this gap here as well. So that's one thing you gotta be mindful of when you have breakouts, like really quick pushes up or down, is gonna pull back, right? So let's see here, we pull back to this level here at around 13,099.50. So we came back and we retested this volume area right here. So moving across, there was some limit orders right here. They came back and they tested that, right? So you can see the limit orders in the book. They came back to grab that liquidation right there. But I think these guys pulled their order. Let's see here. I think they got partially filled. No, they did get filled, right? So you could see it hit this limit order here. The limit order was 26 on the bid. This one here was 23 on the bid. And this here, the volume was 43, right? So it got basically all of it right there. Then with that, we push back up again, move sideways. Right, so we had another big push up right here. You see price came back to fill this gap, right, around 13,110.75. Right, so we came back and we retested, filled that gap right there. So this is how the uptrend moves, especially when there's heavy buying coming in and price just shoots up through certain levels. They come back and retest, right? So we got this liquidity up here at let's see if we traded. Let's see if we pull they pulled their order, or they actually got filled. And again, these guys got filled up here, right? So the volume was 124 contracts, right? So they took out that liquidity right there. Right, trying to get to current price action right now. And I'm gonna actually show you another inverse relationship compared to like the ES and the NQ. So right now we are current price action. Let's see how that structure looks. Let's kind of close that up a little bit. So we had two tests here. The good thing is for the long position is that even the selling at the bottom, right, when they're hitting the bid, it doesn't follow through, right? So even though you have these big purple bubbles at the bottom here, it's still pushing back up, right? And we're getting buyers, initiative buyers. You see those big bubbles at the top, right? They're hitting liquidity. Liquidity is trying to, it's either they're trying to push down price, and they're getting initiative buyers hitting them hard, you know. So they're not holding down price when they come above the price like that. When they sit in the book like this, they still get traded here at 119 contracts, right? So right now, probably a retest of this level right here, because you can see it actually fills like little gaps, right? So let me show you something here. And if it breaks this level here, then we got to be mindful of like a real retracement, right? So you can see, let me open this a little bit. You can see at the ask right here, the bubbles are getting kind of small, right? And you're seeing there's certain parts like right here where there was no trades, right? So you would see it would have a cluster of bubbles right here to kind of get back to trading in this level around like 13,118.50. And you see here was 13,118.75, right? So they're actually cleaning up this little area here where there was less trades. They came in here and made some big bubbles right there. So that's how the market makers kind of move price around. So they like to get as much interaction at certain prices as they could, you know. So they're gonna move price around like that. So looking right now for a place, cause my let's go over to NinjaTrader. All right, let me just show you here. So at this point I could trail my stop up to around, let's say maybe this level, 13,108, and let's go back to bookmap and see what that's looking like. 13,108, right? So around this level right here, right? And that would be below like 13,108. Yeah, so that's below this liquidity here. That's supporting price, right? And this is the target right here, Camarilla R3. So my actual target is 13,131.50. So let's see here. Right here in between this two liquidities right here on the ask, my target is right up there. Now, to be honest, right, the prudent thing is to put my target at 131.29.50 just before we get to this liquidity, or even like below this level right here at probably 131.29. So I'm gonna do that right now. Right, so you see they pull their liquidity right here, but let's see. Come on, give me the crosshairs right. So let's say around 131.2950. All right, so let me just make that adjustment. Right, so we're just waiting on the target right now. So let's look at price action and let's see. Now, how much do I want to give back? If it breaks below the structure, do I really want to give back that? Let's see if there's anything it has to clean up. Is there a reason it should come back, right? We didn't really trade between this level right here. Oh, we almost hit. All right, we're pushing up, almost hit the target. So I could probably trail my stop up to around 131, 115. So let's see here. Is that correct? Let's see. 13, 115.75. Alright, so let me just show you that. Right, so you see I trailed my stop up to 13, 115.75. Having a doji candle forming here. Let's go over back to bookmap and see what that's looking like. And what it should do is just probably retest this level here at around 113, 120.50, around this level right here. I would say it should retest that for a healthy uptrend for it to keep on going. It shouldn't fail below this level anymore. 13, 120.75. Alright, so let's open this up and see what kind of structure is happening here. So we still have good initiative buyers coming up at the ask right there. So at the top right there, you see best ask. When I highlight it, it says best ask. This is the last price, that white line. And you see we're still getting initiative buyers coming up here. We had a little exhaustion right here, so let's see what's happening. See, buyers are getting a little smaller, a little exhaustion is happening there. Alright, they kind of stepped up just like this bubble. Oh, and let me just show you the inverse relationship, right? So when gold is selling off, usually it's an inverse relationship to like the equities market. So when gold is selling off, you'd get the push up in the NQ, right? So, and this is, come on, switch over, right? So this is gold right now, right? But this is the value area high, and you can see that we're actually pushing up from the value area high, right? And it's actually, I call it a silver pivot zone, where there's one of the oh, so I just hit my target. Right, so let's switch over there real quick. I'll get back to gold. Right, so I just hit my target right there on Mnq. Right, so it actually blew past my target right there. So I was actually thinking about trailing up my take profit, but let me just stick to a good trade, right? So right, that's the take profit right there. 5 micros, and took 3 off right here at 13.112. right? And all out here at 13129.25, right? So let me just go back to, right? So the gold relationship here is an inverse relationship. So when you see it started to sell off, this was the open, started to sell off back to the value area high, right? Now the actual Camarilla setups for gold right now is actually bullish. So I would expect now gold to bounce off of this value area high and start moving up. Right now, as it starts moving up, you could see a pullback starting to happen here now in like the NQ, right? Plus we have these gaps to fill here, another gap to fill here, right? With that big shoot up that it just did through Camarilla R3, so you could expect it to probably pull back and retest this level here. Where's my crosshair? Come on. Right, so you could probably retest around, come on, crosshair. Well, around probably 13,128, it could probably come back to that level. But it's looking really strong right now, man. Got this bounce off of Camarilla R3, so it's looking strong. But these gaps right here that we just pushed up from, you could expect a retest of that if gold decides to, let's switch over to gold real quick. If gold decides to continue higher, which is actually pulling back right now, but if it gets more buyers as it retests the structure right here, because we're coming off of the value area high, right? And it is a bullish setup in the Camarillas, and I believe in the value area high as well. Let me just check that. So the value area is actually a outside value relationship, which is suggesting like sideways movement. So let me just point that out, right? So this was previous day's value area high right here. Let's see here. This was previous day value area low, that white line right there. And now value area low has moved down to this level, and value area high has now moved up to this level right here, right? So that's suggesting kind of like sideways movement or trading range movement, right? But let's see, the Camarilla setup is Camarilla S3 has moved up. No, actually, let's see, hold on, remove that one. Right, so Camarilla S3 has moved up from this level here and has gone up just above, let's see here, let's open this up a little bit. Right, so just above Camarilla R3 of the previous day, which is right here. Let me show you that. That was Camarilla R3 right there, right? So now that has moved up to this level here at 2006.2, right? So in that higher value relationship, we're looking for like buys at certain levels. Now, even though the value area high is suggesting like trading range behavior, right? It could be now support, since the Camarilla is setting up in a higher value relationship, right? So even the open is suggesting something as well. We open within price range but above the central pivot range, right? Let me just point that out. So this here is the central pivot. That's the pivot PC, pivot BC, and this is the pivot actually, sorry, this is the pivot TC, and this right here is the pivot BC, right? So that's the central pivot range right there between these two right here, and that's the central pivot. Now we open above that level, right, and never touch that level. We just bounced off of like the value area high. So with that is suggesting that the bullish bias is intact, right? Because we didn't even come back and test this. So we could get up to Camarilla R3, and as I was saying, it's an inverse relationship with hold on. Right, so we could get up to Camarilla R3, but it's an inverse relationship to like the NQ and the ES. So with this bullish activity here on the Mnq, you could see a retracement if gold starts to move up. Right, so you can see gold is just retesting this level here. Now if it does come back and break down and stuff, NQ and MES, ES will continue moving forward, right? Moving up. It's in a nice uptrend right now, the both of them. This is the ES, broke out of Camarilla R3, and nice little uptrend right there. So next targets for MES or the ES is R1, weekly Camarilla R3, Camarilla R4, and R2. You can see there's a lot of targets in the book here. People who went long looking to take profit around 4100. Right, so that's kind of like a bull flag pattern happening around Camarilla R3 on the NQ, and a lot of liquidity at around 13,150, right? So below floor pivot R1, right? And that's about the heaviest liquidity up there. So that's probably a target right there. Now even this is a setup, right? Like a breakout of Camarilla R3, retest to go long, right? And let's see here if gold is cooperating. Right, and gold is looking like it wants to break down from value area high, because it's pushing down past this volume right here. Right, so that consolidation volume right there is pushing into it. Heavy selling right there. So we might just get that push up on the NQ and the ES. Right, so the NQ is looking like it wants to break out right now. Right, so we have some exhaustion here again. Let's see if the buyers is going to come in here, and they'll probably do something like this again on the off of the structure, because we have a build-up of volume right here, and then we might just get the shoot off into this liquidity right here. Alright, so you see they're coming in there again. Alright, so that was my live trade on Mnq. You can see we hit our targets here. That was the take profit, and it wasn't too long of a trade. So the setup coming in and took this trade here around 1927, right? And was all out in basically an hour, right? So yeah, that was my live trade. Hope you enjoyed the breakdown and stuff like that. This is my Apex Trader funding account, and I actually qualified for, so I'm now officially a proprietary firm trader. with Apex Trader funding. So if you want to check out the discount link, I'm gonna leave in the description. It's 50% off. If you want to try get funded like I did, go for it. All right, y'all. So trade safe and stay blessed.